Welcome back to the Leaksmith Podcast. My name's Phillip. This is Tommy, and this is our first guest ever, Danny Scribbins, my younger brother. We are fresh off of a 3 or 4 part series on the 10 questions that every homeowner should ask before hiring a roofer. And that's been a good segue into our next topic, which is today. I thought I turned that off. Sorry about that. Which is our next topic, which is family owned. So what? And basically, what we're getting at there is that you hear the phrase or the term family owned and operated as a sales point. But in large part, it's become a platitude. A lot of people don't know what that means. So
they hear it and they say,
so what? Exactly.
Yeah,
so that's how a lot of sales points are. They sound good, but what's the benefit? So today we are going to jump into that, talk about the good, the bad, the indifferent of working for a family-owned and operated business like ours. So we thought it was relevant to have Danny, who's another family member here and present for this this episode of the podcast. Before we jump into that, something that we have as a new tradition in our podcast is we go over something that we call uncommon common knowledge. Last week, we asked everybody if they knew who their 2 senators were if they live in the state of Georgia. Now,
we nailed that one.
We did.
Both of us, but we got it.
We nailed that one, and we threw in a bonus too, which is to name all the presidents in your lifetime. And I got them, but in retrospect, I realized I got one of them out of order. So I failed that quiz. But this go round, and again, after we ask this question, just for kicks, I want you to pause the feed and see if you can answer this correctly. And the question is, what can you name the 7 continents?
You asking us now?
Who wants to take that? I got the answers here, so I can't. I'm cheating if I answer.
I think the young buckaroo should give this a go.
I can give it a shot. I'm absolutely gonna.
All right, let's do it.
Can I go? Can I gong him if he's wrong?
Yeah.
Man.
All right.
So you can hit. All right, we have Asia, Antarctica, Europe, North America, South America. What on earth am I missing? Australia. I think
The big one. Where does all human life?
Africa.
There you go.
There we
brother.
go.
All right.
How could I
Nice.
Yeah, way to go.
You know
That's
what?
you
I
guys.
actually did not expect you to get that, and I'll tell you where a lot of people get off.
Probably
is,
Australia.
Antarctica and
Oh.
the Arctic.
They would think it's each
So
one is.
I think Antarctica is the South Pole.
Mm-hmm.
So
The
they tell
Arctic
us.
is the North Pole, and that doesn't count as a continent for some
Right.
reason.
It might not have any land. It might be all ice.
Might be
I know
all
that
ice,
Antarctica
yeah.
is a landmass covered by
Yeah, our
ice.
camera person is saying yes, it's all ice.
Is that true?
So it
Okay.
doesn't count. So again, here's the topic: family owned. So what? We are basically going to get into this and just ask right now: what does family owned and operated mean to you? And we can start with our guest here to put you on the spot.
Oh man. Well, again, thanks for having me on because this is a fun one to talk about for sure. Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I have same as you. We grew up in a roofing household, and so we've kind of always seen the family dynamic of it, and it probably means a lot of different things to like other companies when they hear family owned, as well as homeowners that are looking for a company. They probably think right off the bat, if I was not in the roofing business and I was looking to buy a roof and I just saw, okay, one company is family owned, I think, okay, from one family to another, they have my back. They have the same values as I do, is what you would assume when you hear that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that I think off the bat that should instill confidence. What do you guys think?
Well, that's what it means to you. Now, as you were saying that, I thought of a video that you sent me, or a link you sent me when you were 15 or 16, wise guy. And I think the link said something like, the nightmare of every contractor's kid and they're in a car, and the kid's in the back seat, and the dad's going, "I did that.
Yes,
I built that fence, laid that driveway."
Yeah.
And the kid's like,
I
"Oh
remember
my
that growing
God,
up. Yeah.
get me out of this car." So
I caught myself doing it the other day too.
The same. It's to Stacy, and she just rolls her eyes. I'm like, that's nice.
well, to me, what family owned means to me and what family owned means in general to people might be two different things. I mean, to
Right.
me, there's tremendous satisfaction, there's tremendous gratification, and I've got 1.5 steps out the door. So I'm like the farmer who has capable sons who want to farm. So to me, it's about legacy, and it's about pride. It's about just continuity.
Yeah.
But I have a feeling that in general, family owned has some positive, but it also has some negative. And I think we're going to debate this a little bit later. But, with the rush to, all the activity that there is and all the investment that there is in the roofing industry, what the buying side is saying is mom and pop means primitive, slow, unchanging, stubborn, and high priced. So we're going to talk about that at more length, but
I'll take it from a customer perspective. What we would like that to me, what I would think from a customer perspective is that somewhere either consciously or subconsciously, you understand that the people running that business are tied to the performance of that business. It's like having your name on the building.
Skin in the game.
Yeah,
Right.
you have skin in the game. Even if we don't have a company that's Scribbins Roofing, I still consider our reputation a direct reflection of me.
Right.
Negative feedback, a direct. I take it. I don't take. You're not supposed to take business personal, but if it's family owned,
Can't really
you
help it.
tend to take it personally. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, that means that you tend to do a better job for people.
my dad never preached ever. He never gave lectures, but often when one of us was walking out of the door to go somewhere, he'd say, "Remember your last name."
Yeah. Yeah. And in the way I do business, that's a big part of it, is why I take it so seriously and why I'm kind of a perfectionist about us doing a great job. I used to tell our project managers,
Kind of a professional?
used to tell our project managers when we first hired them, and I was trying to get them to understand their role. And I said, your role is to, and I had to pause, and I said, think of it this way. If this was your mom's house,
Yeah.
how would you manage this job?
Right.
And that's how you should manage every job. You want it to be absolutely excellent. Like your mama lives in that house. And if you manage your jobs that way, we're going to have a tremendous result for our customers. And I don't know that you get that with non-family owned companies because they don't have as much skin in the game, or it's not directly tied. There's a lot more ability to flip the switch when you're off at night, when it's not family owned and operated.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, it's a 24/7 gig.
Out in the field, there's been a couple scenarios where I always found it funny that it was like family owned meant something. They had polar opposite views of what that meant. Like one lady, bless her heart, she was convinced that she was almost like doing us a favor. She was like, "Oh, you're a sweet little family."
Family's got to eat.
Family's got to eat, so you have my business for that and that alone. And then
That's a good point, actually.
and I was like, okay, I'll roll with it. We'll do a good job with.
I think there's a perception of family owned in a lot of cases, possibly being on the smaller side.
Right.
But
They think family.
yeah.
It's the family.
well,
We're
here's
not
the thing.
doing
There's a
everything.
huge company. I won't get in trouble for this, but
Yeah.
Enterprise says family owned, and they're the biggest car rental company in the country, as far as I know.
Walmart.
Maybe Hertz is bigger.
I wonder if
but
that old lady thinks the same thing about Walmart.
do they also
I
claim?
need to buy these groceries here. because you're-
No, I do
I think
my
the-
part. I shop at Walmart. Yeah.
I think the operated part is the important
Yes.
to distinguish.
Right.
You can be family owned,
Right.
but if you're not family owned and operated, I think those are two different types of companies, actually. And we definitely are family owned and operated, and not just to the people with the last name Scribbins. I'd say it's more of a family environment than anywhere you could work.
To kind of piggyback on that, when you're saying like something like Enterprise or Walmart, I think Folgers and they're still like, I think it's still in the
Folgers, the coffee.
Yeah, I think they're still in the family dynasty.
Yeah.
But how far removed are the people running the show from the actual production of it?
Sure.
We have like I feel like a much shorter chain between the head honchos and the guys that are on the ground doing the work, and that's where like that intimacy.
I have my finger. Definitely have my finger on the pulse of things, and I can't see that changing. If changing ever, if ever,
right,
with us. So, Danny, you had some experience in our industry outside of our family-owned and operated business. I think actually you were kind of stubborn at the time, and you did not want to come to work directly for us.
To say the
least. So you said you wanted to go somewhere else, and you saw one of those big ads that said, "Come knock doors for us, and you'll make $300,000 a year."
No, it said come supervise.
I was about to say.
Oh, did it say come supervise?
Yeah. So the first thing that got like piqued my interest. I mean, yeah, if you were to ask me at 18, hey, you want to come work for us, Danny? I'd be like, see you, man.
Yeah.
But you piqued my interest. I remember, I think you were telling me first about a ladder assist position.
You did. You started looking at inspection jobs first.
At like 18, I was like, you can
never climbed a roof.
Never climbed a roof, and I was like, immediately, let me do that full time.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that didn't work out.
You mentioned it to your mother, and my life was a nightmare for a year.
Yes.
Don't you dare let him go climbing ladders.
And I was sitting on.
She didn't care if I was, but you little baby.
Too much toothpaste out of the tube for you.
Yeah, by that time you were already But yeah, so that once that fizzled, then I was like, well, I guess roofing. I know roofing. I thought I did. And anyway, refused to work for you guys. You were. And you're right on, like, that's still a thing. I looked the other day just because I was curious, but like Indeed ads, it's almost, at least in our market, it's all roofing, roofing sales position for door-to-door canvassing, and almost all of them flex this astronomical.
That's a whole other episode in itself. But I'll just say you got two. There's more nuance to it, but what I've seen is that there's really two different types of roofing companies. There's client-centric roofing companies, and there's sales-centric roofing companies.
Right.
And the ones that are sales-centric usually are based on door-to-door sales.
Right.
And rather than their focus being on bringing in new clients, their focus has to be on attracting as many door-to-door guys as possible. And the reason for that is because they have a really high turnover rate, which is why they've got to keep that pipeline churning, because every guy that you bring in, you get 3 to 5 sales. It's their grandma, their aunt, their uncle, their buddy from high school, and by then they might decide to quit. But that's why they do their post about, check out our $60,000 bonus check, or flaunting all the massive trucks that they purchased. That's why they do that, because they've got to attract more salespeople. Whereas the client-centric roofing companies, they try to appeal more to the actual buyer and the client and get that inbound business. So it's just two different ways of tackling it. But most of what you're seeing on Indeed is the sales-centric jobs, and that's why you're seeing a lot of those. And that's why it says something like, $300,000 your first year, or whatever it says. But yours, go ahead. And
what is the number that you see?
Yeah, it was like anywhere from 200 to 300. Nothing even
nothing south of 200.
Well, yeah, pretty much.
I'll be.
Yeah.
So
straight, but the way it's almost comical, the way you said it is laser accurate, and when you hear it that way, it almost sounds like a multi-level marketing thing. It sounds like a pyramid scheme a little bit. But no, so that company I had, I was at for a minute, and names will not be named, but it was a little outfit out of Covington, Georgia.
I think they had other locations in other states, if I'm not mistaken.
It's totally possible. If that tells you how little I was paying attention.
Yeah.
But I just jumped in, and one of the first things that it was definitely a baptism by fire situation. And when you're talking about like differences that I'm aware of now working with you guys at Accent Roofing, is you were completely thrown to the wolves first and foremost. You were given a T-shirt, a contract. They might tell you what to look for on a roof, and then beyond that, they say, "Don't call us unless you have a
An inspection.
Yeah. Yeah. And it kind of goes hand in hand with what you're saying. I think it is a kind of a churn and burn formula business model in terms of like the salesman aspect.
One in 10 of those guys sticks, but the other 9, you get their families' roofs before they fizzle out. Because that's when you're in a door-to-door self-generated sales position, first thing you're going to do is go for low-hanging fruit. I know this from experience. You're going to go to people you know, friends, family, neighbors, and then when those run out, you've got to go out and you've got to beat the pavement and you've got to knock doors, or you've got to do other things like networking and whatnot. And a lot of people don't.
So I made a maximum of 2 sales in that outfit and I probably am the only salesperson ever to sell a roof on Snapchat.
Oh, wow.
Because that was what I used back then, and I was
well, you're at a real
job.
disadvantage because you couldn't get the low hanging fruit. You couldn't sell one to your dad or your brother.
That's all my daughter does now. She's 14 and they don't even use text. They just talk on Snap.
It's all Snap.
I thought that you would think it would fizzle out because it was been around so long, but I think it's gotten more popular.
Okay, so the point there was, I think, you tried a non-family owned business, and that was your experience.
And you saw that what's the takeaway there? That you really did not have a lot of shepherdship. You were thrown right to the wolves.
Beyond that,
no guarantee for money.
There was no guidance and no support then after. And I would say you were, there was no real level of, no accountability nor trust.
Did you even know who owned it?
No, never saw that. So that's a big point now that you bring it up. I never saw the guy who owned it. You would hear a name, but he was always out there. And then, even on like dealing with the customer side, I had this is one quick thing that did stick with me, and then we can move on. But I probably had like my first lead door knocking, and it was a sweet little old lady, and we started. I had a team lead at the time, so he would basically just come and make sure I was, not screwing it up. And we got to the point where we were meeting with this lady's insurance adjuster, and my team lead and the adjuster had a disagreement about what damage was on the roof, and they got into a full fist fight in this old lady's neighborhood or in her yard. And I was there, probably been there for like 3 weeks. And I was like, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I have no idea what's going on.
The adjuster and
the adjuster and my leader.
Oh, wow.
The sales manager.
My sales manager.
and this company is actually still around, which is surprising.
Are they really?
When you tell me that story.
Oh, that's wild.
So
just off the bat, I mean, I couldn't even conceive
of that happening here.
Yeah. Mind blowing.
Well, I will say this: it's more of a topic now than ever because our industry has gone from mostly mom and pop shops, family owned, and now there's a lot of multi-state, corporate owned, or you don't even know who owns it, outfits, and that's kind of what's the market is changing, or our industry is changing a lot. So you're much more often going to be in a situation from a sales standpoint where you have to talk to a homeowner about this. So with that said, do you have a coin?
I don't, but how about rock, paper, scissors?
Rock, paper, scissors. So
what are we doing?
You're going to introduce this. I think you wanted to introduce this concept.
I'm going to anoint myself moderator. We're going to have a good old-fashioned, what do they call debate club in high school?
Debate?
No, there's no other word. Semantics? Is it I don't know. But anyway, we're going to have
we'll roll with that.
We're going to have a good old-fashioned, hopefully civilized debate where I won't answer leading or ask leading questions. I may jump in from time to time, but we're going to take each side. So we're going to argue the so what portion of the family-owned so what. One of you is going to speak in favor of big ownership or big owner, big roofing, big pharma. Really, we're not just talking about roofing today. We're talking about family-owned versus corporate-owned. Correct? Okay, so one of you is going to argue and sell the corporate-owned side of this. One of you is going to argue and sell
which one do you want?
Family-owned. Well, here's how we're going to do it because I'm the moderator. You guys are going to do rock, paper, scissors. The winner gets to choose to, just like football, gets to choose to receive or defer. So the winner gets to take his chances with whatever the first question is. You can say, I'll receive, and then you may get either question, or you can say, I'll defer, and your opponent gets whatever I choose to ask first. Okay?
Let's roll.
So whenever you guys are ready, don't hit the microphones. Let's rock it out.
Let's just do one.
All right.
2 out of 3. Rock, paper, scissors.
What?
Okay,
Okay.
just one timing, man.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right. You get to choose.
All right. I'll play devil's advocate. I can be corporate.
Okay, I just want to confess.
Okay.
I just want to confess. This is one of the reasons why you guys are running the show, not me. It has always taken me an extra second to figure out who wins rock, paper, scissors.
There's only 3 hours.
I know, but I got to look at and then I got to think about the progression. Then I finally go, oh yeah, but is it scissors cuts paper?
Okay.
Everybody else has already.
You get
moved
very
on.
literal. It's like, well, I can.
Everybody else has already moved on with their lives. And
Yeah.
I'm still trying to go, who won that round?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking the first question.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
Okay, all right. You are rootin' tootin'. You just rolled in. Your big parent company just opened a branch in Atlanta. They're out of Baltimore, Maryland, and they've got a national footprint. And you're on a lead. You've been invited into someone's home, and they're interested in your estimate. You've done your inspection and so forth, and now you're sitting down, and now you're going to talk about why they should go with Big Roofing.
why you should go with Big Roofing. Well, first off,
Or are you going to hide that fact?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's, I'm just going to jump. I'm not taking the question, but I am going to say this.
He's going to coach you a little bit.
I mean, there's a good chance that customer is going to ask you, they're going to say, who's the owner of your company?
Sure.
Or, yeah, they may ask you that. So that's the
we
first
do
thing.
role play just like we do with the guys.
I'm moderator and
Yeah.
homeowner.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
here we go.
All right, so right out of that, you are right, because I don't think I would. I think I would not lead with, "Hey, we're owned by someone you'll never hear of again." But what I will say is, we have a system in place that has been proven with just many layers. I mean, we have immense support and a department for everything, and there's no chance of us going under because we're a multi-million-dollar company.
Have you done any in my neighborhood?
I mean, no, but we've done some all over the country. So
Okay.
I would say that that speaks for itself in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Well, forgive me for asking. Forgive me for being a stodgy homeowner. But what benefit is there to me, living here in Suwanee, Georgia, to the fact that you've done roofs in, Maryland, Florida, Texas, Timbuktu, Pasadena.
Sure.
You've got this nationwide ability, but what's your ability locally to, like if I were to walk into your office today, how many people are on staff? How many people do you have here locally to serve me? Just curious.
Yeah, I mean, well, we have a local team. That's what I'm a part of.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be here, but we do have a presence all over the country.
Gotcha.
So all I'm getting at, sir, is that we're pretty easy to find. You can look us up. You can
What's
see
your
we've been around a while.
What's your approach? I mean, God forbid, but in the unlikely event that there's a loss of cabin pressure, not in the unlikely event that your roof leaks, what kind of a system or budget do you have in place for warranty service?
Yeah, well, you'll never have to talk with me again. So
What if I want to talk? What if I want to talk to you again?
You can, you can call our office and
You might be able to track me down.
Yeah, they'll track me
Track me
down.
down.
They'll track me down, and if I have time, we have a department for everything, as you can imagine, with a company our size.
So
Okay.
it used to be, the big thing used to be years ago when I really got serious about this was people wanted a locally owned company. That was the thing. And that was what people would advertise. I mean, storm chasers would come in town, they'd buy your name just so they could do business under a locally owned and operated company.
They'd rent your name.
Rent your name. So, I mean, the same thing, there was a reason why they did that, because they blew out of town, and once they were out of town, you had a warranty and something came up, nobody was around to honor it.
Right.
So I think the same kind of holds true for these corporations or big companies. You just don't know when they've got a national footprint, but at the same time they're trying to open branches all over the place. Every region has a different market, different challenges, different obstacles. They're not all going to make it. That's just the bottom line, which means what is your warranty worth? And I used to tell customers this when I was selling. If a company's giving you a 10-year warranty and they've only been in business for 1 year,
Yeah.
how much is that warranty really worth? Especially in an industry where the average company goes out of business in 5 years or less.
Absolutely.
So,
I used to in the 1990s, and we have a policy that we don't dog cuss other roofers by name, but these guys are no longer in the roofing business. So I am going to mention their name because I think people will find it interesting.
Okay.
When we were much smaller and trying to come up, I would lose a number of jobs to Sears. And the reason and the reasoning that I would most often be given for losing a job to Sears is they'd show me the phone book and they'd go, "These guys have been doing roofing for 100 years. They're not going out of business." Well, they did go out of business.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. So
I'll give you I'll throw
top
in,
that?
I'm gonna throw in a point for your perspective. So
I was really trying to sell it, but I kept catching myself
I think this is what
You've never been on that side.
This is what you'd run into from a homeowner, or what I think a homeowner would run into. Well, Mr. Homeowner, as a national company, we have significant buying power. And what we're able to do with that buying power is negotiate better pricing on our material and our labor rates. We pass that savings on to you.
Oh, that's good.
So that's what you would say.
You should have been the corporate
Now,
guy.
I will say it from the other side about that.
Yeah.
With all of that additional buying power and lever, number one, it doesn't affect local labor rates. Those are not going, they don't, because those are not national laborers.
They're still getting the same labor pool.
You're buying from one crew or a guy in Atlanta that's got 10 crews in Atlanta.
Right.
What you're doing in Denver doesn't matter to them. So you're getting the same rates as everybody else. If not, they're charging you more because of certain things that you require them to do, which is the next thing.
That's a bubble
is
pop
that
for sure, saying that. Yeah.
If there is savings, if they are able to negotiate better pricing, what happens is they throw on so much more red tape and overhead that savings gets wiped out. So, that's, and also, the big companies here in Atlanta.
So forgive me for interrupting, but that would only work. That line would only work. We pass the savings on to you if it is so persuasive that I'm not going to do any more shopping. Because
Correct.
all I have to do is look at
Compare
bids side by
prices,
side and go, where's the buying power? You're $3,000 higher than these guys.
What's crazy about that is I've seen them all over the place. I've seen some companies that are not family owned that are they're through the roof expensive.
Sure.
And then I've seen others that are literally doing it at cost. And I've kind of got a theory on that. I think the ones that are doing it at cost are new branches that are just trying to get their foot in the door. And from what I've seen, that's pretty much the case.
Right.
The ones that are higher are established brands that were purchased in that area that are now using a different model that's worked somewhere else.
Okay.
And they've got, local traction. That's kind of what I've seen. What's your next question, Mr. Homeowner?
All right. Well, it depends if we're moving on or.
No, this is because here's like what you're saying. Like one thing I'm realizing as you're kind of picking it apart of there's a lot of the things that might be red flags. They just don't get brought up with when you're sitting down with a homeowner unless you go out of your way to make sure they're educated on the full spectrum of what they're probably running into. Like the corporate owned company is not going to flex, everything that's wrong with them. They're going to lean into things exactly like you said. That's more of a sales spiel.
Yeah.
Right.
I suggest this because I am the moderator of the debate.
Yeah.
To land the big roofing, so what plane? Why don't you take one shot? I'm sitting here. I need a roof, and I know that you're with a big outfit with a national footprint. And my question is, so what? What benefit, hardcore benefit, do you bring to me because of that?
Hardcore benefits.
Your big roofing, and the benefit of that is.
I would say it's the same thing that
you already said.
That your old friend Sears said is like
we're going to be around forever.
We're going to be around forever.
I call it layers. I mean, there's a lot of layers in those companies, and a lot of things have to go wrong before they would go under. That's a good. I mean, that's a valid point.
They're supposed to have infrastructure, but I think
they have infrastructure. They have if they've got other branches, they have meetings about best practices, like what works best for the homeowner, things like that. And you get to share that knowledge. Whereas, we're, as a family-owned company, we're paying the school of hard knocks to learn most of what we're learning over the years. With a large company, you're paying the school of hard knocks, but you're also getting the lessons from all the other companies that are paying the school of hard knocks.
So you ready for your question?
I am ready for my question.
Okay. I'm Mr. Homeowner. I'm Mr. Torbjornsen.
Okay.
And
how do I spell that, Mr. Torbjornsen?
Torbjornsen.
Swedish?
Yes, matter of fact. Yeah. Do I get a Swede? Do I get a Swedish discount? Well, it's one of the latest names in golf. If you're ever looking for a random name to use in any kind of thing, just pick something out of the world of golf. Hi, I'm Mr. Woosthazen.
Yeah.
There's some great names. Anyway, so I'm Mr. Torbjornsen, and you're with a family-owned operator. You finish your thing. We're at the kitchen table, and now you're going to answer the question: family-owned, so what? I'm a busy man.
Torbjornsen. Mr. Torbjornsen, as a family-owned company, what you're going to get, my dad used to make a joke about this. If you get mad enough at us and something goes wrong, you can go right to our address, and where our office is in the basement, that is where we live. You can find us because we're local and our name is in the local phone book. We don't operate out of the basement anymore, but you can still find us because we live in this city. We're very involved in making sure that you have an excellent experience. If something goes wrong, that comes back on us personally. If something goes wrong on your job, the owner is going to hear about it. And I can tell you, the owner wants to make sure that you get a 5-star experience every single time. I can say that, we've had the same people working for us for a long time, and we don't have quite as much overhead and red tape bogging down our pricing. So while we're not going to be the cheapest, and you don't want to hire the cheapest, we are going to be the best price for the value that we bring to the table. And with our certifications and our family structure, we're going to provide you the best roof for the money.
Right. Well, being Swedish, I'm pretty concerned about efficiency and so forth. And I just get this feeling that family-owned businesses are just a little primitive. They're not very efficient. Maybe the way that you keep records is not as good. And I feel like maybe I'll fall through the cracks somehow.
So I'd say Torbjornsen, I'm going to say that it's actually the opposite of that.
TJ.
TJ.
It's actually the opposite of that. Whereas you might be with a larger company, just a number. You with us are a name, and we are still very excited about every job that we sell. And we're, as we've grown, we used to do almost all repairs. As we've grown into a company that specializes in large roofs, what we were thinking about this entire time is how do we grow without watering down the Kool-Aid? Right. And we have built an infrastructure with our project managers, with our client services coordinator, that allows us not to, you're going to get the same experience as if I was on your job site and it was the only job we sold that day, because we have a project manager dedicated to you, and because we're the only company in Atlanta where you can actually call the owner. If you want his number, I will give you his number.
Mm-hmm. And that's a real offer?
That's a real offer. Yeah. That is a real offer.
Yeah. All right. Well, the audience is the judge, and maybe it's not even a judge-jury situation, but I think what we realize is there may be some pros.
There may be
to the big thing, and there may be some cons to the family thing.
Sure.
Back to the top.
Yeah.
If it's family owned and nothing ever changes, if it's family owned and nobody's ever growing, then some family owned businesses can look at time in business as a license to just charge higher prices.
Or if there's one guy running the show and they don't have a plan of succession, you're not always going to know that when you're hiring a family company. The guy who owns that company could be a month from retiring, and unless he's got a game plan for honoring those warranties, you might get a 10-year warranty. I can say right now, once you're retired, if your BBB rating goes to an F, but you're not in business anymore,
Yeah.
that guy's not going to care as much.
Right.
I would care because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, but I'm just telling you, you don't know that as the homeowner in some cases, unless they've got a plan of succession, which like in our case, Tommy is, when he's completely, which he never will be out of the picture, he's always going to be there for consulting. I'll be in the picture, you'll be in the picture. And hopefully one of us has a son or daughter one day. That
Right.
wants to
Well,
take it over.
there's a little over 10 years between you guys.
Right.
So we really have 2.5 generations just at this table. So
Correct.
I would say people,
pretty
let's
cool.
do the quick math, people who trade with us are at least assured of a Scribbins, God willing, being in the picture
30
for
years.
30 years.
30 years.
I would say that's absolutely.
That's
30
not bad.
years.
You know, just
I got a lot of gas in the tank. I can't imagine myself wanting to just sit back and
I couldn't
kick my feet up for.
I couldn't picture you.
That's just not
Sorry,
a,
you're not you're not a toes in the sand kind of guy.
No,
I
I'm
think.
not. Sorry.
That's nothing wrong with that. I just had one last thought on what you're saying, and it's kind of almost like a selling point and a crutch on both sides. But like a corporate-owned company has a lot more funding they can keep burning steady while the quality of work diminishes and the reputation, like let's say online. Like they can sustain volume even with a 2.5-star rating for a long time, and a small family-owned company cannot sustain
That's a
that.
good point. That's a good point.
Like we, that just kind of echoes the fact that we have a lot more invested in this, and
skin in the game.
a lot more skin in the game, that we want to make sure that like you're having a good experience.
I call it the Kroger factor. I never want to come around the corner into Kroger and see somebody and have to run the other way.
That's hilarious.
I met my floor guy. I saw my floor guy. One time my floor guy took a 90% deposit and disappeared. And I saw him out at Longhorn and he dodged me. Yeah.
The nerve of that guy.
But anyway, I've never wanted the Kroger thing, but I want to just as we kind of close.
I got to throw these two questions out here quick. So if you make go
I just
ahead.
want to do a close up. If we can, I've never requested a close up, but family owned. On the subject of family owned, before this one was born, Kathy and I were whitewater rafting with this one and his brother, and my ring disappeared. So it's been about 30 years, and I just want to say that as of last Saturday, I'm back in business.
New wedding
It's a
ring.
new wedding band.
Mom got a new one
I've
too.
been looking for something
Good for you,
just like
Pops.
the one I lost, and I
Yeah.
finally found the one I lost. So.
I'll have to buy that later.
While y'all
Very good for
are, no, I think you did good. I like that.
Thank
Good
you.
for mom.
Yeah. So we'll try to make this quick. Danny, what is your favorite part of working with a family business with family? What's your least favorite part?
The answer is one and the same, I think. And I think you already know what it is. Work does not stay at work.
Is that a positive or a negative?
It's both.
Oh, me too. You stole my answer.
Okay.
I think it's funny because that's actually similar to what I was going to say. When we have a great idea, it doesn't have to wait until Monday at the board meeting for us to talk about it.
No,
we could be at the lake on the weekend, and if we got some game-changing idea, we're gonna bore the hell out of everybody else that's there, and we're gonna trap them. And we're
That's-
gonna talk
remember,
about it.
It's a surprise.
But if there's a problem, I've had weekends that have been ruined by things going sideways at the lake, and I've been pacing around on the front porch trying to figure out how to solve it.
Do you remember?
It goes both ways.
Do you remember we used to say, if we were at the lake or something, we used to say, not going to talk about work for
Yes,
very long.
no, we would try, and then within 10 minutes.
We've completely abandoned that disclaimer.
We have. We tried. We gave it a good, honest effort when we all started. I think when I was like, maybe it was feeling more bad about it because when I like joined you guys officially, I was like, can we like talk about anything else? And then as time goes on, it's like,
it's an edge.
dang it, I
man.
kind of like what we do.
It's an edge. It's something that our competition does not get unless they schedule a meeting or So I think that's a perk. It also can be, if it's negative, it can be a little bit of a drag.
Well, growing up in farm country, in my cousin,
what kind of
North Central Iowa, big ag.
Okay.
But my cousins had a big farm in southern Minnesota. When we go to visit them, we'd be at a potluck dinner or something, and all of a sudden, half of them would disappear. And you go, where'd they go? They had to do chores. And so on the farm, which is a family business, they used to say, we're always working, but we're never working. It's kind of like Green Acres is the place. So
Very similar.
Very similar.
I actually had one other. So I was having meetings yesterday, and these were semi-important meetings.
Sure.
Not completely of a private nature, but you would not want somebody to just chime in that's not. So, as we've grown, my office shares a desk that mom comes into a couple days a week.
Yeah.
And as I was having these important meetings, she's typing away at her computer, and just she had to chime in a couple of times, which bugged the heck out of me.
And meanwhile, I'm not in the office, and I'm getting texts that say, "Did you know that Phillip is doing so?" And I said, "He's the president of the company, Ma. Just chill."
Yeah. So she reeled it back in, but that was a little bit. That's probably my least favorite thing is that.
She's getting there.
But it's very minimal. No, I really enjoy working with her as well. So but it's annoying, but it's kind of cute in retrospect. But at the time, it's being able to brainstorm with you guys all the time is great. Let's see, what do we got? So closing thoughts. That's
we've said it all, and we're getting tapped out. So.
Yeah, at the end of every meeting or every podcast, we say one thing to make the world a better place. And
I want to set you up for this because I wish that when I hear one that I wish I'd have thought of, I know it's good.
Yeah.
So
it's a good sign.
So you got this, and I think you stole it from Dale Carnegie.
I did.
No, you can't go wrong with a classic. So what's one way that we can all make the world a better place without much effort?
You need to remember that there is no such thing as a neutral human interaction. Leave people a little bit better. Even if it's a smile, it's just having a slightly nicer tone, asking them about something they're interested in. There are no neutral interactions. Even if you're at the gas station paying for something, you can smile and say, "Have a nice day." I mean, it's a great principle. Just remember, no neutral interactions between humans. With that said, guys, this episode was supposed to be our first ever in our new studio, but we had some technical things taking a little longer to figure out. We do think the next episode will be at our permanent location. In the meantime, we've had a great host for our first 5 episodes. Tommy wanted to give them a shout out.
I just want to say the Light Room in Athens, which is
Lighthouse.
Light Room here in Athens, Georgia. It's in the most charming and unique complex. You'd have to come out here and experience it. But anybody that has a need for podcast studio, recording, anything audio visual, I would certainly give these people a call because they have been nothing but gracious and accommodating. I don't want to create a precedent, but you were talking before we went on air about a problem you were having with a pet and an accident and your frustration. And the owner of the operation walks in here with Woolite.
We can't promise you if you call them you'll get your own can of Woolite.
We can't promise everybody a can of Woolite, but that's
there's that personal touch.
And it's great. It's great. So we really like it.
Awesome. Well, Danny, we have a way that we sign out here.
Okay.
And if you want to chime in, you're welcome to chime in.
You've been a great guest, by the way.
Thanks
for having me on.
Great guest.
Expert, real gravitas.
We are, how do we say it? This is the Leaksmith Podcast, and we were roofing when roofing wasn't cool.
Okay. Well,
we're the Leaksmith, and we were roofing when roofing wasn't cool.
Wasn't cool. Did I say we were leaking when leaking wasn't cool?
We were leaking? We were leaking.
We were roofing when roofing wasn't cool. Thanks, y'all, and we will see you the next episode.
Out.
See ya.